Hey guys, this is Spartacus here and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be going over every single UAV in every Call of Duty game from Call of Duty 4 all the way up to Black Ops 4. I was thinking about making this video up until the Modern Warfare beta came out because of course that game is going to have a UAV as well, but the reason why I am making this video now and uploading it here on the channel before the beta is because I am making this video specifically for the Karnage recruitment challenge. If you guys have not heard of this, the Karnage clan is putting on this recruitment challenge where they are looking for people to, I guess, recruit, right? And the challenge is just anybody can upload a video and submit it to Karnage, and they can see if they're worthy enough to actually be a part of Karnage themselves. So this video is going to be made specifically for that. And also another thing I'd like to mention, which I should have mentioned a long time ago, is thank you guys for helping me reach over 500 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. I reached this a while ago. I just keep forgetting to mention it in my videos. I don't know why, but seriously, you guys, thank you guys so much. I am very happy and humble that you guys are supporting me here on the channel. It has been a long road for me and I haven't grown that much, but reaching 500 subscribers definitely means a lot. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with Call of Duty 4. So here in Call of Duty 4, the UAV is actually called the radar in this game, and of course it acts exactly the same way as any UAV does in pretty much any Call of Duty game that has a UAV. So here in Call of Duty 4, there is a perk called UAV Jammer, and if you have this perk on your created class, then the enemies can't actually see you on their mini-map as a red dot. But the thing here about Call of Duty 4 is that the radar is actually a pretty powerful kill streak, even though it only takes 3 kills to actually acquire it. The thing about the radar in this game is that even though there is the UAV Jammer perk, nobody actually ever uses this perk, and there is of course those very few who might actually use this in their created class. But the thing is, the UAV Jammer perk is in the same perk category as Juggernaut and Stopping Power, and those two perks right there are very crutch here in Call of Duty 4, and so therefore most people, probably like 99% of the people you're going up against, are probably going to be using those perks instead of UAV Jammer. And so with the radar, when you call in a radar, once you go on your 3 kill streak and call in that radar, you are most likely going to see everybody on the enemy team as a red dot on your mini-map. So for me personally, the COD 4 radar is probably one of the most powerful UAVs, radars, whatever you want to call it, in any Call of Duty game, just because nobody uses the UAV Jammer perk. And another thing I'd like to mention, this is kind of a little bit more statistical information. If you guys are wondering how much time it is between each sweep when you call in this radar, it's actually 4 seconds for each sweep, and then I believe it lasts like 28.84 seconds. That's how long your radar will last when you call it in. So roughly 30 seconds. I mean, that's what I saw here on just like my editing software when I was doing the math. But anyway, that is all the COD 4 statistics and information I want to give out about the radar. So let's go ahead and go on to the next Call of Duty game, which is World at War. The UAV that we see here in World at War is actually called the recon plane, and from what I can tell, it's actually pretty much the same thing that we saw with the radar in Call of Duty 4. So it requires a 3 kill streak to actually earn, just like the radar in COD 4. And for how long the recon plane actually lasts when you call it in, it's actually pretty much the same time as we saw with Call of Duty 4's radar. It actually lasts for 27.97 seconds, which is pretty close to 30 seconds. And then the sweep for each like radar sweep, I guess, when the recon plane is activated, it's actually 3.97 seconds, which is pretty close to 4 seconds, which is exactly the same as we saw with COD 4's radar. And so really the World at War recon plane is exactly the same as we see as the radar from Call of Duty 4, which is very interesting. Now, just like in COD 4, there is a perk in World at War that allows you to be invisible to enemy recon planes. In this game, it is actually called camouflage, but the thing is, nobody uses camouflage in this game, just like how nobody used UAV Jammer back in COD 4. So this is kind of interesting because here in World at War, there are a lot more perks that you can actually choose from one another, and this game also does have the perks Juggernaut and Stopping Power, and those perks are in the same category category as camouflage, so you can only choose one of those 3 perks if you want to put it on your created class. So this game, really nobody used camouflage because really Juggernaut and Stopping Power are just such powerful perks. There are also some other perks as well in the perk category that you could choose from, but for the most part Juggernaut and Stopping Power were the #1 choices for when choosing perks in your created class. So really nobody ever used camouflage in this game, and you could pretty much see everybody on the radar when you call in a recon plane. So anyway, that's it for World at War. Let's move on to Modern Warfare 2. The UAV in this game is actually called the UAV, and just like the previous Call of Duty games, it requires up to a 3 kill streak to actually earn when playing a multiplayer match. But if you are using the Hardline perk, you can actually get it by only getting 2 kills. Then you can call in your UAV, which is completely insane if I think about just 2 kills and you can get a UAV. But another thing about the UAV in this game is that it only lasts for 25.32 seconds, which is pretty close to the times in the previous Call of Duty games. It's just a little bit less than usual. And then the time between each radar sweep is actually 4 seconds, just like in the previous Call of Duty games. Now, this game also does have a perk that can counter UAV called the Cold-Blooded, but I'm not sure how many people actually use Cold-Blooded in this game. It seems like a lot more people use Cold-Blooded here in Modern Warfare 2 rather than UAV Jammer or Camouflage in the last 2 Call of Duty games that I mentioned in this video. So UAVs can be useful in this game, but for the most part, if you see a tryhard or someone who's trying to get a tactical nuke, for example, they don't use a UAV as one of their kill streaks. They'd rather use a more lethal one like the Harrier Strikes or an AC-130 or maybe a Predator missile that can actually guarantee themselves actual kills, which of course can count towards their 25 kill streak tactical nuke. So, well, those kind of people don't use UAVs, but if you're someone who isn't very good and you know you can get a tactical nuke, then maybe the UAV is the right choice for you here in this game. So now that we're done with Modern Warfare 2, we're going to move on to Black Ops. Here in this game, the UAV is called the Spy Plane, and just like the previous Call of Duty games I discussed, it requires 3 kills to actually earn, and if you are using the Hardline perk, it only costs 2 kills to actually earn in a match. And what's very interesting is this Spy Plane lasts for literally 37.16 seconds, which is a very long time compared to the previous UAVs and radars that we saw in the previous Call of Duty games, because those would last either like 30 seconds or 25 seconds at minimum. But here in this game, it seems like it lasts for 37 seconds, and maybe I'm like wrong about that. Maybe I'm doing something wrong when doing my math about this, but that is a pretty long time for your Spy Plane to last. And the time between each radar sweep when you call it in is 4 seconds, just like the previous Call of Duty games. And that's really it about the Black Ops Spy Plane. Of course, there is a perk to counter the UAV or Spy Plane in this game, which is called Ghost, and as of course we've seen that in like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and even Black Ops 4. We've seen that perk come back many times. So Ghost here in Black Ops actually can counter the Spy Plane, and they will, whoever uses that perk will be invisible to an enemy Spy Plane. And that's pretty much it for the Spy Plane in Black Ops. Let's move on to the next Call of Duty game, which is Modern Warfare 3. The thing about UAVs here in Modern Warfare 3 that makes it really interesting when it comes to earning them is that you can earn them in 2 different ways. You can earn them in the Assault Streak package, or you can earn them in the Support Streak package. Now, the thing about these 2 different strike packages is that they do contain different selectable kill streaks that you can actually use, but the thing about the Support Streak system is that when you die, your kills actually don't reset towards your kill streak rewards, unlike the Assault ones, where they actually do reset upon your death. But of course, the ones in the assault area are typically going to be more lethal than the ones in the support area anyway. But both these streak rewards actually contain the UAV. So with the assault streak package, you can actually get a UAV at 3 kills without dying. And if you are using the support streak system, then you can get the UAV at 4 kills. Now, it doesn't matter if you die in between these kills, because those kills actually still counts toward that UAV UAV. So let's say you get 2 kills, then you die, and then you get 2 more kills, and then bam, you got your UAV. It doesn't matter if you die or not, which is nice. You know, if you're someone who's like a noob at Call of Duty, like I was back in Modern Warfare 3, I always ran the support streak system, so it was very easy for me to actually get these like streak rewards because I couldn't streak up. I was really new at Call of Duty at the time, and so I was terrible at the game, so I always ran support streaks here in this game. But also there is the perk Hardline, and Hardline allows you to actually, of course, earn your streaks easier. So when it comes to the UAV and the assault streak package, and you have the Hardline perk on as well, it actually only costs 2 kills without dying, keep in mind, to actually earn yourself the UAV. And with the support strike package, it only costs 3 kills to actually earn it, which of course isn't that bad. I want to know why you run a UAV and support strike package anyway, but nonetheless it's still 3 kills with Hardline when running the support strike package. Now when it comes to how long the UAV actually lasts in this game, it lasts for 28.29 seconds, so pretty close to 30 seconds, which is pretty high actually. It's a lot higher than some of the other Call of Duty games, just like Modern Warfare 2, so a big improvement off Modern Warfare 2's UAV in my personal opinion. And the time between each radar sweep is actually about 4.3 seconds, which is a little bit longer than usual, because if I am doing my math correctly, it always seemed like it was about 4 seconds for each sweep, but it was a little bit longer in this game to actually have a longer radar sweep between each one. So I don't know why it's like that. It's kind of interesting. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Modern Warfare 3 UAV is kind of different than the other ones in a certain way, but nonetheless, that is the Modern Warfare 3 UAV. Of course, there is another perk where you can counter this, of course, and be invisible to it, but most people usually don't run that perk in this game anyway. So let's go ahead and move on to the next Call of Duty game, which is everybody's favorite, and that is Black Ops 2. Okay guys, I just want to apologize that the gameplay you guys are watching is me going up against bots here in Black Ops 2. I was trying to get some actual gameplay footage against real players in Black Ops 2's multiplayer, but the thing is, the multiplayer for Black Ops 2 is so modded. There's so many people who are modding on the other team. They literally make it to where you can't leave the match. They have like aim bots, they have wall hacks, they have God mode, you name it. They have everything, no matter what lobby you get into, and it's completely ridiculous. So I had to go into a private match, put on some bots, and actually show off gameplay for this video, so I do apologize for that. But nonetheless, the UAV in this game is earned a lot differently than what we've seen in the previous Call of Duty games that I mentioned. So first of all, we don't have kill streaks anymore in this game. We have score streaks. So in order to earn yourself a UAV, you have to earn a certain amount of score, rather a certain amount of kills. Now keep in mind, when you do get kills here in Black Ops 2, of course you get score from getting those kills, but you can also get score in other ways like collecting tags and kill confirm, or capturing a flag in domination. So the UAV here in this game costs a total of 425 score to actually earn it, so that's equivalent to around 4 kills in team deathmatch and maybe like an assist or something like that. So that isn't terrible, I guess you could say, but if you think about it, if you're playing game modes specifically like only team deathmatch, then it actually is a little bit more expensive to actually earn than it would be in the previous Call of Duty game, since they only required like at least 3 or 2 kills. So the UAV in this game is actually a pretty good thing to use. There is of course the Ghost perk, which allows you to be countered from the UAV, so you don't actually get caught by enemies when they call in their UAV in. But you know, the UAV in this game isn't too bad itself, because for the most parts the maps are not super big, so it's not super difficult to actually find enemies. It's also a good way to actually flank around enemies if you know where they're at on the minimap, and then try and go up behind them and try and kill the whole team if you can, if that's even possible. So the UAV in this game isn't terrible, but I will say the Ghost perk, a lot of people actually started to use that perk in this game, and ever since Black Ops 2 a lot of people started using Ghost, and so sometimes it might be a little frustrating when an enemy doesn't pop up in the minimap and they end up killing you. But anyway, that's it for the Black Ops 2 UAV. Let's go on to the next Call of Duty game, which would be Advanced Warfare. We are skipping Call of Duty Ghost because COD Ghost technically does not have a UAV in that game. It does have a SATCOM, which can act like a UAV, especially in free-for-all, but in team modes you actually have to have 2 of them to place down in order to create the radar effect or UAV effect or whatever you want to call it. But we're going to skip Call of Duty Ghost because technically technically it doesn't have a UAV in that game, so we're going to go straight into Advanced Warfare. So with the UAV here in Advanced Warfare, it can be totally different than any UAV we've ever seen before in a previous Call of Duty game, and even some future Call of Duty games after this game already came out. So what's cool about the UAV here in this game, you can customize it to act differently. So with the score streaks here in Advanced Warfare, you can actually use a kill streak or score streak and customize it to where it has up to 3 different modules on them, and these modules can make, like for example, the UAV last longer. It can give the UAV have extra assist points when it's activated. It can also make it to where it's a support streak, so that way when you die you can actually still earn it later on after your death. And then you can also make it where it's like an orbital VSAT, and the enemies on the minimap will actually become red triangles instead of red dots. And there's also threat detection, which is absolutely amazing because you can actually see enemies through walls. But the catch to adding these modules on the UAV, it actually makes the score streak cost more to earn. So without any modules on the UAV, it actually costs 400 score, but the more modules you add onto it, the more expensive the UAV becomes. But the thing is, it's kind of a high risk, high reward thing. Even though the UAV might cost a lot more, you're still making the UAV a lot more powerful. So when you do earn it, it actually acts a lot more powerful than just some radar sweep on your mini-map. Because like I said, it can have threat detection, you can see enemies through walls, you can make it last longer, you can make it have like a support streak, you can make it anything you want it to be that's available to you in the game. And honestly, this was some of the best additions we've ever seen in any Call of Duty game, and I just have to say that this is probably the best UAV out of any Call of Duty game we've seen so far. So that's really it for the Advanced Warfare UAV. An awesome streak. I think this was such a great idea. And so anyway, we're going to move on from Advanced Warfare and move on to the next Call of Duty game, which is Black Ops 3. The UAV here in Black Ops 3 is probably one of my least favorite UAVs out of any Call of Duty game, and for one of the main reasons for that being is actually because, first of all, the UAV costs a total of 500 score, which is totally absurd. So if we compare it to, I guess, Advanced Warfare's and Black Ops 2 UAV, that's pretty much almost 100 more score. Black Ops 2's UAV had 425 score, but here in Black Ops 3, it's 500 score, which is absolutely ridiculous. So you literally have to go on like a 5 kill streak in like team deathmatch in order to get yourself a UAV, which is completely insane, since if we go back all the way to COD 4, the radar in that game only took a 3 kill streak. So that seems a little bit absurd to actually get a UAV here in this game. But if you guys are wondering how long does this UAV actually last here in Black Ops 3, well, it only lasts for about 20 seconds, which isn't very long at all. This is actually the UAV that doesn't stay that long up in the air, which is kind of interesting, to be honest with you. And the time between each sweep when the radar is actually on is 4.34 seconds, so that's pretty similar to the other Call of Duty games where they're about 4 seconds long, but only 20 seconds this UAV lasts. It takes a 5 kill streak to get this UAV, and it only lasts for 20 seconds. To me, that's completely absurd, and I'm not a big fan of the UAV here in this game, even though I always run the UAV every time I play the game because I like to know where the enemies are at. But nonetheless, probably one of my least favorite UAVs here in the game. But anyway, we're going to be done with Black Ops 3. We're going to move on to the next Call of Duty game, which is Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, everybody's favorite Call of Duty game, am I right? Well, anyway, Infinite Warfare does have the UAV as well. It costs 500 score to actually earn because this game does have score streaks as well. It's the same cost as the Black Ops 3 UAV, but the interesting thing about the UAV in this game is that there are different variants you can actually purchase using the salvage you can earn from like duplicates and supply drops and by completing other challenges. And these variants actually didn't come into the game until like maybe 6 months after the game came out. I'm not entirely positive when these came out, but they definitely didn't come out during the launch of Infinite Warfare. And anyway, there are 3 different variants besides the base variants that you can choose from when using this UAV. The first one is a rare one, and it has a tendency perk to it, which says stays active for a longer period of time, but has lower health. So this is actually very useful. This is one that I personally use. I like my UAV lasting for a longer period of time. It does have lower health, so close, so if someone's going to use some sort of bullet weapon to shoot it down, then they could probably shoot it down very easily, but most of the time people don't really shoot down your UAVs, so I really like this one. And then there is the legendary variant, and this one has the tempered perk to it. So this one says higher resistance against explosive weapons but has a lower active lifetime. This one, I don't really know what to say. I mean, it kind of depends who you're going up against. If there are people who are using rocket launchers and just want to shoot down the score streaks and stuff like that just so they can like complete challenges and stuff like that, then yeah, I guess this one would be better, because if it has higher resistance against explosives, then that's good, but it has a lower active lifetime, and I don't like that. I like my UAVs lasting for a long time, which is why I prefer the rare one over this legendary one. And then there is the epic one, of course. This one has the teamwork perk attached to it, and this one makes it where it has increased assist points but at a higher score streak cost. So the score streak cost goes from 500 to 625 points. That's around 6 kills and like an assist or something if you're playing like team deathmatch. So this would make it more expensive, but it does give you more assist points. This one can be pretty beneficial, especially if you want to earn other streaks that you have attached to your class or something like that. But for me personally, I think the UAV that lasts longer is a lot better, especially if you're going for deatomizer strikes. I think the rare one is actually the better version to actually use, but if you're someone who doesn't care about going for deatomizer strikes, then I highly recommend using the epic one when you earn it, so that way you can earn your other streaks as well and just totally demolish the other team with your other lethal streaks or something like that. But anyway, you guys, that is it for Infinite Warfare's UAV. We're moving on to the next Call of Duty game, which we're going all the way back into the past basically, and that is World War II. So here in World War II, the UAV is actually called the Recon Aircraft, and of course it acts basically the same thing as the UAV, and in this game it also costs 500 score to actually earn it, just like in Infinite Warfare and in Black Ops 3. However, there are other ways you can actually earn the Recon Aircraft as well. One way is by using the Requisitions Basic Training, which I don't highly recommend you guys ever use because I think it's a huge noobish way to actually get score streaks here in this game, but the Requisitions Basic Training does increase the score of the Recon Aircraft, but when you die, your score actually doesn't reset for your score streaks, and so you can basically die as much as you want as long as you're earning some sort of score, and eventually you might get the Recon Aircraft during the match. However, though, you can only call it in one time because that's what the Requisitions Basic Training does. It only allows you to call in your streaks one time at an increased cost, even though the score doesn't reset upon your death. The second way you could actually earn yourself the Recon Aircraft is by using the Blitzkrieg Basic Training. This is a kind of a more recent basic training that came to the game, and by far is probably one of my favorite basic training to use. So what it does is that instead of like having the score streaks be score streaks, it turns them into kill streaks. So in order to actually earn the streaks in this game, it's based on kills instead of score. So it transfers the 500 score for the Recon Aircraft to actually 4 kills. So with the Blitzkrieg Basic Training, it takes 4 kills to actually earn yourself the Recon Aircraft. But the cool thing about Blitzkrieg is that even though it does change the score to kills, it actually makes them more powerful as well. And if I'm not mistaken, it actually lets the Recon Aircraft last 5 seconds longer if you are using this basic training. And Blitzkrieg is awesome. I don't know, I love it, you guys. It's definitely my favorite one in this game. If you guys are wondering the time of like how long the Recon Aircraft actually lasts, well, the time between each radar sweep when you called in is around 4.14 seconds. So 4 seconds, which is basically every Call of Duty game seems to have that. So 4 seconds, nothing too special there. But if you are using it pretty much the base Recon Aircraft, and if you're not using the Blitzkrieg Basic Training, then it's going to be around 26 seconds is how long the lifetime will last for this Recon Aircraft. But if you are using the Blitzkrieg Basic Training, just add 5 seconds to that, and it'll last for about 30 to 31 seconds, which is pretty good to be honest, and that's why I highly recommend using the Blitzkrieg Basic Training in order to call your streaks, and it makes them more powerful, and in a way it's a little bit easier to actually earn them in well, is my personal opinion. But anyway, World War II Recon Aircraft, I think it's very useful. There aren't very many basic trainings or like divisions or anything like that where the enemies will actually be invisible to your Recon Aircraft, and because there's just other basic trainings and divisions missions that other people are going to want to use in this game. And so I think the recon aircraft in this game is pretty good. So we're going to move on from this game, and we are going to be talking about the last Call of Duty game here in this video, and that will be, of course, Black Ops 4. The UAV in this game, in my personal opinion, is the worst UAV out of any Call of Duty game. I swear to God, you guys, there is not a UAV that is worse than this. Of course, there is the Black Ops 3 UAV, which only lasts for like 20 seconds, but to be completely honest with you guys, I'd rather use the Black Ops 3 UAV than the one in this game, and it might be because there's like the fog of war or something like that, I don't know. But anyway, the UAV here in Black Ops 4 is the most expensive out of any UAV for any Call of Duty game. It costs a total of 550 score, which is pretty much equivalent to 6 kills if you're playing Team Deathmatch, because getting an assist in this game is actually the same amount of points as if like you're gonna kill the enemy anyway. So if you're playing Team Deathmatch, it's a 6 kill streak without dying to actually get yourself the UAV, which is completely absurd. Of course, this is score streaks we're talking about, so if you do play objective like plant the bomb, insertion, destroy, capture the flag, and like domination, kill confirm, which actually is probably the best game mode to actually earn yourself a UAV, you really have to play the objective, and I think Black Ops 4 really pushes that a lot, especially with the score streaks here in this game. Of course, there is the cosmic device, which reduces the score down to 450 points, which is okay, I guess. I always use cosmic device. I feel like I have to in order to earn score streaks in this game. Now, there are other factors to help you get the UAV in this game, like your specialist weapon and then the ammo pack that Crash uses, because that also gives you additional score for every time you get a kill. And of course, the specialist weapons can get you more kills as well, considering if you get a kill like the Annihilator or the Scythe or even the Sparrow, it actually gives you an additional like 25 more points on top of the kill you got, which is pretty nice. But the problem is with the ammo pack and with like these specialist weapons, you don't have access to them all the time. They're only temporary uses. You have to let them charge up, and then you can like use them one time or something like that. Completely ridiculous, you guys. I cannot fathom enough of how much I hate the UAV here in this game. But if you guys are wondering how long it actually lasts, it lasts a total of 26.6 seconds according to my calculations anyway. Hopefully I am correct on that. I was a little surprised that it lasted longer than the Black Ops 3 UAV, but the problem with the UAV in this game isn't so much that it lasts for 26 seconds, which really isn't that long at all, to be completely honest with you, but also the time between each radar sweep when you called in is 5.3 seconds. 5.39 seconds, you guys, at least the exact number that I came up with. So over 5 seconds between each radar sweep, which is a long time, and that's the most out of any Call of Duty game as well, because all the previous ones were pretty close to around 4 seconds long. It was like 3.9, 4.1, something like that, according to my calculation anyway. So around 4 seconds between each radar sweep out of every Call of Duty game, except for this one. It's over 5 seconds, and that's probably why I hate using the UAV in this game, is because of how long the actual radar sweep is. And I don't know, you guys, I hate it so much, but that's really it, you guys. I went over every single UAV here in the Call of Duty series, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, and of course, subscribe to the channel for different kinds of Call of Duty videos just like this one, and I shall catch you guys later.